Alright everyone, we are going to start talking about getting some coins, or some kind of collectible, because what else is life about inside of a platformer game? So, first off, you know what, I want you guys to do a challenge. So, the first thing that we need to do is we need to have an object, a prefab, that is available for us to use as the coin. What I want for this is you can decide on the art yourself. Go find a piece of art that looks like it'll fit inside of there and make the object, name it something along the lines of coin, diamond, collectible, whatever you want to call it, and just put it inside the game somewhere. See you guys in a bit. Oh, make sure you put it on the right layer too. Challenge. I hope it's accepted. See you soon. Alright, so right click over here in this hierarchy. We're going to push create empty. We're going to rename this bad boy into collectible or something along those lines. Wow, I have no idea how to spell that. I just realized. Is it Able? Able? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Alright. And then we're going to go into Sunnyland, artwork, and we're going to take a look in here and see what we want to use. Swing back and forth. That looks like fun. I think I'm going to go with cherries. That just looks like a good idea. So, we're going to lock this collectible down on there so that we can see it at any given time. And I'm going to zero all this out. We want the Z to not be have any number especially. We want it to be aligned with everything else. So you see how Z is 0, Z is 0, except for the main camera. Well, it'd help if I had this unlocked so that you guys can see Z 0, Z 0, and Z is -10 on the camera, which is what it's supposed to be. Alright, so remember we want this to have the added component. We're going to put down the sprite renderer. Anytime that you want anything to show up on the screen, you're going to need some kind of renderer on it. So you can just type in renderer and see all the different things that's in there. Mesh render is more for 3D, skin mesh render, so on and so forth. You can go on and on. But for this tutorial, I'll use sprite renderer because that's the 2D image. Right? We're going to take this cherry right here. We're just going to drag that down on there so that we have something to put on there. We're not seeing anything. We're going to put it on the entity layer. And then I'm going to find it. Oh, it's down there. That's why we can't see it, because this layer is on top of that. We're going to drag it up, and it's itty bitty. So we're going to take all these pictures. We're going to shift collect them. We're going to unlock that. And we're going to hit 16 pixels. We're going to apply it. And boom, we have ourselves a cherry. Now, if I want to, I might want to animate it so it looks a little bit better, because right now if I click the play button, it's just sitting there. It looks a little lifeless, right? So, for this we can go and... Actually, you know what? I want you guys to make the animation. That'd be more fun. So, as a second challenge of the day, you go ahead and try to make your own animation for the cherry out of these images right here. Alright. So the cherries animation, we can just simply right click, hit create, go over down here to animation. I'm going to write cherry or whatever you want to call it for the animation, doesn't really make a difference. Drag this animation over to collectible or whatever you named your object. It will add the animator controller and the animator component to us. You can also hit add component and write animator if you want to do things a little bit more, you know, slowly, but the system is actually smart enough to know that for you and do it for you. Alright, if you have this animator window over here, you can just click on this while you have collectible selected. If you have player selected, it'll run the player's animator. If you have collectible, it'll show the cherries animator, whatever you want to call it. And because we're over here and we can see the cherries animator now, if you can't see this, you go into window, you want to go animation and animator. We see that it's running the animation, animation's cherry, we're good to go inside of here. Now we want to actually set up the animation itself, because right now it's, even though if we hit play, there is actually no animation going. Now some of you for the challenge might have actually handled this already and like taken care of it, but if you have not, I want you to pause the video at this point and try to set up these images as the animation. Alright, click on window, we can bring up our animation window. We can then click on collectible, it'll bring it up. You see that cherry, the animation's there. You want to select all these, drag it over to this window, And then we can just simply start making this work. I need to get these out of my way. Second one is right there. That can get really confusing. These are the last ones. I just gotta keep it in my mind. This one, this one. All I'm doing is putting them on the big ones, so I don't have to worry about it. Second to last one, and the last one, right? If I play it now, swings back and forth, but it looks very jagged. You know, it's going from all the way to the side to the other side, like almost automatically. And that's because even though the artist was really good and kind of had it so it has his last image, the way that it's looping is it's going from this last image to instantly to this image. So same reason that the other ones were kind of like weird looking. We can just drag this last image again to this second last spot, and that'll make it, oh, I hit the wrong play button. Now I'll make it so that it works a little bit better. So when we hit the play button now, it looks a little bit better. Now, we want to make sure that this is looping, or else if we play this and it's not looping, it'll only play once. So we click on the Cherry Animation, we hit loop time on there, we then push play, and ta-da! We have ourselves this nice little playful animation. Carrying on, we want something to happen when we actually touch that thing, right? So let's do a couple things here. First off, let's have it so that it's actually interactable, that something's on it that actually happens. So we're gonna go and put ourselves a box collider 2D on there, meaning that the game will actually know that something's happening to this if it's touched or something. And we're also going to do one other thing. We want this cherry right here to be a certain type of object. You can do this in a lot of different ways inside the game. We actually did this earlier. I know that doesn't even make much sense yet. It will in a minute. Just give me a moment. So if you go to like level, you see in the foreground, we actually put this on the layer ground, right? Now, you can actually also tag things to be certain things as well. Like there's like automatically inside the game player, main camera, and the game you can through script check these tags to see what an object is. In this case, we can tag this like collectible or something like that, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tag it. We're going to make a new tag for it. We're going to create one that says collectible, save, and we're going to actually add it to our cherry, right? Now that we have that on the cherry, the game actually knows that this is a collectible. That doesn't actually mean anything right now because we haven't added any meaning to it. So we have to actually go into the scripting and make it mean something. So we're going to have just to show you what I'm talking about, we're going to have a public integer cherries, right? And we're going to set it equal to 0 to start off with. Alright, so right now we have 0 cherries going into the game, right? And then we can actually use a whole other function other than these ones. Now, actually, we don't want this to be a normal box collider, by the way. You want to hit isTrigger, okay? The reason why we hit isTrigger is because we don't want it to really work in the physics system. Right now, if I have this unclicked and I do this, even though I haven't programmed anything in for anything to happen when this cherry is getting hit, see how I'm running into it? It's like acting like I'm like stepping on it, and it's not ground. It's done on the ground layer, so like it's not resetting my jumps or anything either, you know? We don't want it to do that. So if I hit this isTrigger, boom, I go right through it because it doesn't deal with the physics system anymore. Now this is pretty important because even when you're scripting things, it has a whole different function that it calls in, and it's gonna make a little bit more sense here in a minute. Because we talked before about how the start function, for instance, Unity automatically tells every object to run start. It goes, hey, you have a script on you, you have a component on you, every component, run your start function. I want you to do that as soon as we spawn out, as soon as I create you as an object. Oh, we're starting up. Okay, now what do you want to do? And then the object goes, okay, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to find all these components inside of me. Then every frame of the game, every time the game is updated, it runs the update function. It goes, okay, now what are you going to do in the update? Oh, I'm going to move, says this object. What's move do? It does all these things, right? I'm also going to do the animate state function. What's that do? All these things, right? And I'm also going to set my animation, the integer inside my animation object, which is this right here, my animator. And I'm going to set the state to whatever my enumerator status. Right? That's what it says. Array frames. There's also another thing that we can do, many other things actually, but this time we can do on trigger enter. Make sure that you have 2D selected and spell it correctly too. All right, and you can see now this is a little bit different because you actually create this parameter inside of here, right? This can be used inside of these brackets right here, and it automatically has all the data. Unity sends it in with all the data of the collision, and there's a lot of data there. Okay, now that we know that that collision over here will actually pass in something to here, it's important to know what exactly that is. So if we go into the game over here and we see the fox running over here, Unity actually tells the fox at this point right here that you have entered a trigger. Because this has a trigger on here, and because the box and my collider are overlapping at this point, which if you see the scene view you can actually tell that. So you can see the box around there, you see the box around him. They're actually happening right now. They're colliding, right? And because that, and because one of them's triggered to Ontriggerenter, right? Because that's actually happening, Unity says, okay, Ontriggerenter, if you have that on you, run it right now. Now, it'll run anytime it hits any trigger, so we want to make sure that we are hitting something with the right tag on it. So we want to say, if the collision dot tag, meaning what's the tag on that collision that we have, equals, and you want to say equals, always to equal sign, because they want to know what kind of comparison you're doing, because you can do a less than or equals or greater than or equals. They want to make sure that you're doing a strictly equals like comparison, so that's why you have to do 2 equal signs there. This is a string. The tag is a string, meaning that it's a set of characters within quotes, and you want to see if it matches collectible. Make sure that that first letter is capitalized or uncapitalized depending on how you wrote it in Unity. In this case, I used a C. And then you want to put some curly brackets, which basically means then do this. So if this, the other collision, the tag on that, the tag in whatever the player collides with, is collectible, then what you want to do is you can destroy it. Destroy is a function that everything inside of Unity can use. You want to say destroy collision dot game object, right? And then cherries plus equals 1, so that we actually start to build up some cherries on here, right? And the reason why I made this public, just for fun, starting off with, is because on the player right now, we actually can keep track of how many cherries we have. Right? So right now we have 0 cherries. So if I take this object right here, and I drag it into my prefabs, right? And then I just drag it out, and set it up. I probably even want this one to go down a little bit. Then I can just continuously drag these collectibles out like this. So we're on the player right here. You can see the number of cherries that I have is 0. And boom, I have 2 cherries. And 6 cherries. Woo woo. They all destroy. They don't mess with my movement at all. And they give us cherries. Woo woo. Alright, so with that we have got the basics of collectibles inside of the game, and I think that we are good to go on this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button below. If you didn't like it, please leave me a comment below. Tell me why you didn't like it. Like, what did you want to be better? What could have been different? Anything and everything. Also, if you want to comment down below, you can tell me what you want for the next video series, because I'm probably already in the midst of building it, so it'll probably be the 3rd video series from your suggestions. And let me know what your stick-ups are, what you can use more help with, what's going on. Thank you. Please hit the subscribe button below, hit that bell notification, get more free tutorials like this. I hope that you have the best day. Bye.